years I've been driving this train, years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capping space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
Wow, welcome back. Welcome back. Having some technical difficulties, but how is your Sunday? Happy Sunday, guys. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, Kimberly. What's going on with you?
Hi, doing well, enjoying these cooler temperatures, but not this time change. It is a struggle.
Oh, really? Well, wait a minute. I thought we got an extra hour to sleep in today. So,
We
did you not
did, but
enjoy it? Okay.
not on a Sunday like this where it's just laid back. But I don't like that it's dark at 5 p.m. here in North Carolina.
I know. Yeah, same here. It gets dark, yeah, about 5:30, something like that here in Detroit, Michigan. Well, what's the weather? What was the weather doing there today? We had about 60 degrees. What about there?
Yeah, same about 69 here earlier.
Oh, 69,
Nice.
almost 70. Very nice. It's
Yes.
sunny too, I take it.
Yes, sunny. Yes. Very
Oh,
good.
okay. Hang on, internet. Hang on now. Don't be trying to act up on us. We're trying to get these episodes out the way. Well, what did you think of these last three episodes? Did we learn a little bit more about the couples? Did we see them making some strides toward progress? What do you think?
I believe so for most of them. Now, we had one couple that wanted to tussle a little bit for us, but for the most part, I believe we did learn a little more and they became a little closer, I think.
Yes, I do think that too. I think they're beginning to kind of adjust their communication styles so that they
Mm-hmm.
are more cohesive and they can better communicate with one another. I do feel
Yes.
like there's one bride that's kind of holding back. We'll talk about her a little bit later. And I feel like there's another bride, we're looking at her, that's a little bit too snippy. What do you guys think? You guys, you think, do you think that Megan is being snippy with Derek, or is Derek being too controlling? What do you think, Kimberly?
Both. So I think they both want to be in control, and Megan is not willing to give up her, I don't know, her singlehood, maybe. She just still
Hmm.
Derek to transform to what she wants, but she's not willing to give in to what he wants totally. And I understand the thing about walking the dog. Like he said, Derek said Megan just forced that on him. It wasn't like a conversation that was had. It was just like a last minute, hey, walk the dog. So I would feel like Derek.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. I think that there's a way to ask. And, he also thought
Mhm.
that they were going to walk the dog together, which would have been, some bonding time for them as a
Right.
couple. I could see that. And also a chance for them in their new home to find out, what coffee shops and what things are around in this new area that they are mutually living in this new apartment, right?
Yes.
But we'll go ahead and get started. Starting with episode 5, we have Megan and Derek in the car. She's upset with him still from episode 4. She just feels like that, she's angry. She feels like he's always, what's the word she calls it? He ambushes her. It's one of the many words that she uses that I think is like a huge exaggeration. She says, "Oh, he ambushed her." Well, ambush apparently for Meg is basically if he asked her a question about anything, whether she wants to have children, or whether it's could you ask a few more questions of me so that you could get to know me a little better? What do you think? Does she have a
I
right to be so
agree.
angry on the ride home?
I don't think so, but maybe we missed something. Maybe something was not shown. But I agree with Megan on how Derek was running to other people to have conversations about their relationship before even coming to her. That is very disrespectful, in my opinion. And that's the number one thing they tell you: don't go outside of your home talking about your problems. Go to your partner. But Derek said he didn't. What did he say? He didn't feel comfortable because of the way she reacts. But still, you have to make your marriage work. You got to have the conversations whether they're tough or not.
Yeah, you do have to have the conversations, but I think where we're at on this episode, I think that thus far, in episode 5 at the beginning, I don't think he's talking to anybody. Hey there, Miss Wilson. Uh, how you doing? What is this? Can somebody explain it to me, Miss Wilson? Everybody seems like their YouTube name has changed and now it has numbers. Maybe I forgot, but I didn't think your YouTube name that you had numbers behind it, but maybe I forgot. Okay, so let me know. Hey Reza, good to see you guys. Make sure you hit that like button, okay? Yeah, girl, you and me think on she definitely is. Because when they get into arguments, all she does is take everything that he's saying to her, flip it around, and say that he's doing what he's telling her she's doing. And it's not really gaslight. Like what? Mm,
Right.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, great minds think alike. Yes, but we move forward from this scene because the next person that we also young lady, sometimes we can kind of stir the pot a little bit here. Our girl Brittany, Brittany and Will. Now this is from last episode, the continuation. She had went down. Remember, she told him that she was going to go take a shower, but instead she went downstairs and got them old chicken fingers. And
Yes.
she was tearing them bad boys up too. She like, yeah, I likes to eat. So when she came back, and I'm so proud of Will. He had the soundness of mind to say to her, okay. And I mean, he didn't say it judgmentally or anything like that. He said, is this something that you always do? And she said, well, what do you mean? He said, well, you said you were going to take a shower, but you ended up leaving the apartment, and you didn't tell me where you were going or anything. How do you feel about that? Does your husband or your spouse, do they have the right to kind of know if you're going out and you're leaving out the room, leaving out the house, and something could happen to you? What do you think?
Of course, that's number one rule in communication, and that's just a part of communication. I think Will was right. Will seems to be a good husband, a good communicator when it comes to this relationship, and that probably proves why he didn't have these kind of issues in his previous relationships, as he stated. But yeah, Brittany was wrong to just go, from place to place without letting her husband know. That was wrong.
I think so too. I don't care how upset she was. Hey
Right.
Felicia, how you doing? Felicia said, "Yeah, the relationship is new, and she
Mm-hmm.
overreacts." Now, which lady? Because both both of these ladies do that. Are we talking? Were you talking initially about Britt, or were you talking about Megan when you wrote this, hon? Let me know down in the comments. And Mona says, "Yeah, Will gives me Keith vibes. Who's Keith?
Hmm.
Oh, from Married at First Sight. Which one was Keith?
I don't
Is that a
remember, Keith.
hmm? The name seems like a Married at First Sight name. Help us out. What season was that? Who was
Yeah.
he married to? Oh, okay. Um, Okay, and yeah, Felicia cleared it up. She said she was talking about Meg. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, Meg overreacts, but can you see that also Brit sometimes overreacts too? Like
Yes.
her first go to is, "Oh, I'm so angry. Oh my God." Like girls, if you can't let somebody, your man, have a criticism, a constructive criticism,
Mm-hmm.
or even a comment about how he's receiving your behavior, because what you may
Right.
not mean it for, he still has a right. It's his perception, and he has a right to be able to communicate that to you without you getting all hyper and all
Mm-hmm.
crazy. And he's not coming to you. And I haven't seen any of the men curse the women out or talk to them
Right.
very harshly or anything like that. So I'm thinking this is the best season of one of the better seasons of men that we've ever had on this dang old show. Like
I
what?
agree. Yeah.
Mm. Yes, and Mona says North Carolina.
Oh,
He was
Keith.
married. Oh, to
Okay.
Iris. Okay. I'm trying to think. Okay, because I remember Iris was the virgin, right? And Keith, he was kind of suave man, Rico suave guy. Not really. Did he not really have a opinion about things? Kind of like this guy right here. Like Will is kind of like, oh, I don't care, everything is okay, because that is getting on my nerve too. But I think he's kind of started to come out of it in these last few episodes we've seen, right? What do you think? Oh, Kimberly.
Yeah, I think he's trying, but still just not enough for me yet. But
Okay.
Brittany seems to like it. I think
Yeah.
he's satisfying her a little more.
I'll bet he is satisfying her if they can find that protection that they need to put on. All these couples seem like they seem to be missing their prophylactics. What's going on? But one thing I gotta say before we move on. So Will in this scene, one of the things that he talked to Brittany about, he said, "Baby, I really feel like we've got to allow each other a little bit more grace. We're just meeting and just getting to know each other, even though we're already married, but we are still strangers. And let's agree to give each other space whenever if I get you upset or you get me upset, that what we will do instead of walking away and not saying anything is that we will say I need a little space, and then we can
Yeah.
come back together and have work on a resolution." I like that. I thought that was very mature of him.
I agree. It was. And then he gave her a hug, which was
Hmm.
nice in the heat of the moment. So that calmed her down and made her smile too.
Yes, yes. Will is learning the secrets to the trade, baby. He said,
Yes.
"You know
And
what?
he's young.
No, my huh? He's what?
He's learning it young because he's like 31.
Yeah, he's young. You're right. He is very young. And you know what? He's learning because apparently that is our girl Brit's love language too.
Hmm.
So he is really learning. So
Right.
I'm impressed with both of them. They're working on their
Me
communication
too.
skills.
Yes.
Um, Okay. And let's see here. We've got, okay. So then as the day progresses, now we're into a new day, remember? And, Meg is back smiling because her and Derek are in a hammock. And he's talking to her. They do this game. I think his sister sent him away with a game to play on their honeymoon. I guess a kind of get to know you type of game. There probably would have been a dating game, but, he's using it now on his honeymoon. And he says, he brings up the question about children, and so she asked him, "Well, what would you like?" And he says that he would like to have 2 to 3 kids, and she says that she'd like to have one boy. And they kind of laugh and joke about it, and they say, "Well, TBD." And you know what TBD is, right, Kimberly?
Hmm.
What is TBD? What does that stand
To be
for?
determined.
Yes, to be determined. That's right. Um. Oh, here's a question. Felicia wants to ask us, Kimberly, if you want to answer this. Do you think that Will
Mm.
is into Brit? What do you think?
I think so. I do. I hope so. Just the personality won't let him go all out like she
Mhm.
wants him to, because Britt is noticing that he's not as expressive either, just like the situation we'll see later on when they go to her house. But I think he's into her, but a lot of times men just don't want to show that because it could be seen as a sign of weakness. And you see that people are already saying that he's gay, or he acts gay, or he may be a little maybe hiding some things. So I don't know, maybe his friends encouraged him to tone it down a little bit.
Mhm. Yeah, because I think his thing of not really showing his emotion. I think that's kind of who he is. I think that
Hmm.
sometimes any of us, male or female, can be disconnected from our emotions. That could be from childhood
Yes,
trauma. That could be from a
exactly.
variety of things. And I think particularly in our community as African Americans, I think for our men, I think that's more also, like you said, that's something that men learn as they grow up with their fathers and
Hmm.
around other boys and other men, is that it's not considered masculine to show a lot of
Hmm.
emotion. And
Hmm.
so I think that may be really kind of where he's getting it from.
Yeah,
Um,
and that can cause problems in a relationship.
hmm Absolutely, it can. We get the group on. They're getting ready to go on a catamaran ride, right? Let me take this off the
Hmm.
screen. They're going on a catamaran ride, and yeah, yeah, Will is emotionless. He really is. Um,
Oh, that's a good picture. I like that smile, Will.
yeah, Will is cheesing it up big
He
time. I like that.
is.
He's cheesing it up. He's starting share a little emotion. And then you got Meg and you got Derek up here in the front, and you can see the top of Josh's head. And Jalen, if you look real close, you can see her. So
Yes.
they're all, in front of one another. And but anyway, but they're heading to a group catamaran ride, a catamaran. I'm sorry, catamaran ride, a boat ride, right? And
Hmm.
so Jalen lets us know that she's never been on a catamaran. And she says, well, is it a yacht? Well, it's a big, big boat. They're going out on the ocean. And the question is, who is going to jump off the catamaran? Because Brittany says she's not doing it. So, what did you think that Jalen ended up being talked into it and she jumped off into the ocean? What did you think about that?
I love it because I've always wanted to do that too. Y'all know I love water, I love travel, I love exploring when I travel, and I've always wanted to jump off the boat, but I am just nervous every time. I never do it. So I love that Josh made Jalen feel safe enough to do it, even though she was reserved, and scared and nervous. And she just did it because, her husband was there and he encouraged her. And I just think that was perfect.
Yeah, I think so too. And her mother, did you notice that Belinda even seemed to be nervous for her daughter?
Yes.
Yeah.
And what did her husband say? Let her husband protect her. I
Ye
loved it.
I did too. I said, now you know what? Wait a minute. Now you're not gonna be on a honeymoon causing problems, okay? Mama, just hush up. You know,
Exactly.
Belinda is such a mother. I love it for her. But then at the same time, I'm hoping that like myself, when you become an empty nester, I'm hoping that she will really begin to discover
Hmm.
more her own voice and let the kids kind of do their own thing because they're grown. And you got to
Yes.
trust that you did the right thing by raising them, and you got to trust in the Lord because it's nothing
Amen.
when they leave your home. It's nothing, you can't protect them from every little thing. You just can't.
Hmm.
What do you think?
Oh, for sure. And I think Chad is going to help Belinda relax a little more, and maybe Belinda will be willing to explore a little more too. Because remember, I think a few episodes ago, Josh even persuaded Jalen to go out and do like a nature something. Jalen was against nature. So I think that is just so cool that he's opening her up to explore different things. So I think mom is just going to have to hush. And that was one thing that I was nervous about when I saw it was a mom and daughter on the season. I was hoping that they wouldn't gang up against these guys and try to change how the story
Yeah.
should go naturally. And so Belinda's trying, but Jalen is just like, I'm gonna enjoy my husband, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah, yeah, she has got a real firm grip on e- everything about herself. Like as a young woman, I'm very
Yes.
proud of her. I'm very proud of
Mm-hmm.
her. And
Yes.
so they end up now these two, like he's got some really interesting tattoos on his body. Like it's very colorful.
Yeah, a huge
Mm,
fish.
and what Felicia said, yeah, Jalen is down for whatever. Yeah, she
Mm-hmm.
really is. I'm like, I'm wondering how long that's gonna last though. It seems
Me
like it's
too.
overproduced or something to me. Like what's going on with that? Not that don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that women shouldn't be up for what their new husbands want or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that, but I don't know. It's something about it that is kind of concerning me. But
True, I can see that.
yeah, we'll get to it when we get to it because I'm sure it's gonna all come out. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, and these two, they were just like they just like chilling. They like, hey, we chilling. We ain't jumping in nothing. We gonna sit
It's
here
like,
and think about how to spend his money.
and it's like they are fully clothed. They weren't even planning to get in the water at all. They
But
didn't
you
even
know
think
what? You know what? And I'm not trying to body shame, but I'm just checking out on Chad's extra baby that he carrying in
it.
this picture. I'm like, oh, he's so cute. He's so cute. He is
Yeah.
really, really cute. But yeah, but that was them on the catamaran, and everybody seemed to have a good time. One thing about this group, so far, the ladies and the guys, everybody seems to be getting along, right?
Yes.
Seems to be getting along. Let's
Mhm.
see. We get back to the hotel. Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out where we are here. We get back to the hotel. Where did that go? I guess this will be it. I think this. Oh yeah, this is it right here. We get back to the hotel, and Derek and Meg are on their balcony. What did you think when you started hearing those strange noises? Is that something behind you, Kimberly? The like there's some movement or noise that's in the background.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I'm kind of noise aversion with my ADHD. It throws me off. But anyway, but what did you think? So they were sitting there on the balcony, and all of a sudden you hear like this mating call from the monkeys. It was worse than that because I was like, I thought we were in trapped in what's that movie with the when they go with the dinosaurs? What is that name of that movie? Jurassic Park. I
Ah.
thought we was I thought we was in Jurassic Park as loud as those monkeys were. And she looked around. She was like, "What is that?" She kind of curled up next to him, and he said, "Oh, those are the monkeys. Those are the male monkeys. They're mating." And
Yeah.
they had a good little conversation about that. What did you think?
I thought it was cute, and then Derek was like, "I can make that noise when we get home or something."
Yeah, he
I
did.
thought
When we
that
get
was hilarious.
it was. She said, "Oh, okay, all right."
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so that was really cute. I thought that was cute too. We had the other couples we had. Now this was interesting. Rhonda and her guy Pat and Will and Britt. The four of them decide to go for bike rides, and there they are. They're off on their bike rides. I thought that was really cute that they got those tandem bikes where you ride. You know, two people ride one bicycle. Have you ever done
Yes.
that? Have you ever done that?
No, never even thought about it, wanted to, but I love all these date ideas that Mavs bring to us. So these are
Uh
great
huh.
things to add to your relationships when you're dating. Instead of just doing the Netflix and chill, you can, incorporate all these great ideas.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay. Oh, no worries. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I thought that was really cute. Were you concerned about Rhonda and our girl Britt kind of getting closer? Like, like
Rhonda.
she's looking to her to be like maybe Britt is looking for Rhonda to be kind of
Mhm,
what Belinda is to her daughter on the show, like to be kind of a mother
mhm.
figure as they go through this process. What did you think?
I don't like it. I don't think Rhonda needs to be guiding anyone with the way she's just all into herself, and then she hasn't, been in a relationship or lived with anyone for, I think she said, 25 years, and then she's just really all over the place. She's not even controlling her own marriage and relationship. She's just too emotional, and it's just a lot going on there. So I don't think she should be guiding anyone. But I wonder, how did that come about? How did they end up connecting? Because I would think Belinda would be a better choice, even though Belinda didn't have the best marriage in the past either. But I think Belinda would be a better choice than Rhonda, in my opinion here.
Yeah, yeah, Belinda would be. I think you're right. Belinda would be a better choice. But I would say, too, actually, I wouldn't mind so much if if Brittany was to talk to the daughter, talk
Hmm. Jalen.
to Jalen. Yeah, I feel like
Hmm.
because Jalen is so open and she's open to the experiment of it all, and she's doing things that shows her partner that she's willing to like be adventurous with him. I feel
Yes.
like Jalen might be a good peer support group instead of rather a older lady. That's just the way I'm looking
Hmm.
at it. What do you guys
Yeah.
in the chat think? Okay. Oh yeah, you got it. Mona Wilson says Rhonda
Yeah.
is very unpredictable. Yes,
Agree.
a-
Yes.
agree with that. Absolutely agree. And so we got Brittany and Will. They go for a hike up to the top of the hill where the castle is. One of these like historic castles that's in Panama, and
Hmm.
on the way up, once they get there, they again become very physical. They're hugging and kissing, and she says she always dreamt of being at the top of the castle and overlooking the land with her man and kissing her man. And he said, well, come on in, and he just started kissing on her. So I thought that was really cute. What did you think?
Oh, perfect. Because this was another moment for Brittany because she said she always wanted to kiss at the top of the castle. And he said, well, let's make it happen. So I love that. And it seems like he's going to be the one that you have to encourage to do things. And maybe he will do, what he's asked to do. So I see that Brittany is learning to just ask more for what she wants.
Yes. Yes, that's it. You got to ask for what you want with him because otherwise he's going to be sarcastic and emotionless, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
He is
And
going to
that's
be,
hard.
and that's hard. So then we have Rhonda and Pat. They go for cocktail making class, and I don't have a picture of that, but they're at the making the cocktails and whatnot. What did you think about the cocktail making with Pat and Rhonda?
That was perfect for Rhonda. Now there were some pretty drinks though. I was impressed with how bright the colors looked, but I think that Rhonda needs to just cut the drinking out for the rest of the season and really get to know, her husband Pat. So I don't know why they even picked that excursion for them, or I don't know how that goes when they choose the excursions, but they should have did something else.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, and I thought too. Now, those of you that if you're on this on the uh, live or whether you're on the replay, anybody watch 90 Day
Mhm.
Fiance? Because the gentleman that was helping Pat and Rhonda to make those drinks, I thought he looked surprisingly like Pedro from Chantel and Pedro. You guys watch 90 Day Fiance, but
Oh yeah.
he was very handsome young man. Like that island look or that Caribbean look,
Hmm.
pretty, skin and curly hair and the whole nine yards and all of that. So anyway, I
Yeah.
just wondered if anybody had noticed that guy looked like Pedro. Um, I wrote in my notes here that she's a big talker, and I wonder sometimes is she a overthinker?
Hmm. For sure.
Any you think that she might be too?
Yeah, because she's already calling him like insecure and saying he's not talking enough. And the guy's new, I think it was like a few days in, and she
Mm-hmm.
already wants him to talk as much as she does and express his feelings, but he's just really trying to get to know her and learn her. But Rhonda's like, oh, he's not doing enough. And then I think later in the season, she started crying. So she got really emotional about just how she is and how she was in her previous relationships, which caused them not to work as well. So definitely she's in her head too much and she's overthinking.
Rhonda says she hasn't been in a cohabitate. Let me clarify because she said a
Hmm.
cohabitating relationship. So that could mean she's been in a relationship. They just weren't living in the same house.
Yes.
Yes. Uh-huh. I see you in here in the okay in the chat. Yes, in the private chat. Yeah, I feel like that is something that she does need to give him some grace on that. Oh, yeah, therapist needed ASAP. Exactly.
Amen. Yes.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Oh, and then she said, "No, this guy is much better looking," meaning Pat. Yeah, I think he's cute. Oh, he's better looking than you saying better looking than who? Better looking than Rhonda? And oh,
Or
this is another
Pedro.
oh, better. Well, yeah. Okay, that's why I say younger. Okay, okay. All right, got you. This is a thing I'm wondering though too. Oh, it just threw me off. Rhonda is selfish. Yes, I agree with that.
Mhm.
But I'm wondering, oh, I know what it was. Rhonda, is anybody also seeing the likeness of her and Diane Keaton, the actress? Because I think she dresses and kind of, looks a little bit like her, wearing those glasses and everything. Anybody else see that? Diane Keaton, the blonde actress just recently passed away.
Oh no, I don't remember that
Yeah.
name.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, she did clarify it better looking than Pedro. Yes, he was. He definitely was better looking. But I'm saying they resembled though. But yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you on that. I definitely think he was better looking. But what about the Diane Keaton Mona? You think that our girl Rhonda looks a little bit like Diane Keaton, or is it just me? It could be just me. Um so anyway, so moving forward, we get over to Jalen and Josh. I'm going to go back to this picture of them. Jalen and Josh. Okay, so we find them later on in their individual couple activity. They're back at the hotel. They're in the pool, and they're doing a lot of kissing, a lot of rubbing up on each other. Boy, oh boy, I mean, like, wow. Then they sit down in the lounging chairs to talk about kids and their own childhood. And he says that when he was a child, he rode his bike a lot to the local pool, and that he swam all day, and then he would bike back to his grandparents' house. And she talks about how when she was a kid, her and her siblings, they practically lived in Toys R Us because her dad was a professional ball player. So she got all the toys and things that she wanted. What did you think of this interaction?
I think it's nice. It just seems they are doing everything right. I love this for them being so young. And I bet it's they're taking guidance from the producers and whoever. But I didn't like the fact that he's riding, doing all this riding, because I think he said it was like 5 miles. And I don't think that's good as a child to be, I guess, left alone that long. But then he was
Hmm.
raised by his grandparents. So it kind of makes sense. Grandma's probably not going to be watching you as much as she should. But
Right,
seems he
right.
turned out pretty decent, so far from what we can see. But I love the conversations about childhood because it really shows where a person came from and why they are like they are, and then the things that they need to work on and change for a better future.
Right, right, right. I was
Uh
just
oh,
responding. Okay. Yeah,
that
right.
is news. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah. If you watch the latest season when they had, what was that, the Mona, what was that, not last resort, because that's the one when they're breaking up or supposedly breaking up, but this one, uh Love Shack or something, basically, where they were trying to meet new people, but they only kept coming back to the same old 90 Day Fiance people. And yeah, she did let us know that right before she left for the show. This is going to 90 Day Fiance now. We were off topic. But she did let us know that right before she left to go on the show, that her friend, who was her girlfriend, actually kissed her, and then she
Mm.
liked it. So she was
Mhm.
thinking about that the whole trip, that she liked that this girl kissed her in her lips, and now I think they're dating each other. So, mm, mm, mm.
Wow.
So okay, I guess that poor Pedro. I don't know what happened, but anyway, let me see. Back on track. So we're talking about Belinda and Chad. Um, Belinda and Chad. So, oh, no, 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 no. We're on Josh and Jalen. They're in the pool. Oh, this was, I thought, was interesting. So Jalen tells Josh that unlike her parents and the marriage that she watched as a child, she wants her kids to be like Yuck. Because her husband and her, they're going to be so affectionate, giving all the PDAs, all the hugs, and all the kisses in front of their young children, and she just wants them to be sick of them. What did you think about that idea?
That is interesting because a lot of times people aren't this mature as Jalen is. A lot of times they say, well, my parents did it, so I'm going to do it. No, you can be better than your parents, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. So it's like Jalen is trying to provide a better life for her children, more affection, letting them see more positive in their home versus what her parents did. So I love that. This girl is too mature.
Yeah, she does. That's the thing about her. I will say she seems very mature. And not only
Yes.
that, I'm gonna tell you something that sets her apart from a lot of these women on a lot of these reality dating shows and marriage shows, including Ready to Love, Love is
Hmm.
Blind. She seems to actually know what she wants in a relationship.
Yes.
A lot
Hmm.
of people will come on with these generic, I want a good man, I want a good man, I want a provider. But other than that, they have no idea what other things, what characteristics, what qualities they really want in a husband. And she seems to know what she wants from the husband and also what she wants her marriage to look like. So I think you're
Hmm.
right. She is very mature for her age.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
and I think Josh seems to appreciate it too.
Yeah, because he saw it from his grandparents. That was a big deal. He said his grandparents used to kiss him and show affection. They would kiss on the lips. Now that's different. And
Yeah, when he
from
said that,
grandparents,
yeah, when he said that, I was like, okay. That's a cultural thing, though. I think when I was a kid, I can recall, I'm not trying to, I can't remember who it was, but I just can recall seeing different people that would kiss some kids, their kids on the lips. And then, my parents, My mom did that probably when I was a little baby and a little toddler. I think I kind of remember
Mm.
because I remember even wiping it off. It was kind of wet, and I was like, so
Oh
she just started.
no.
Yeah, it was kind of wet. But looking back on it, I would give anything for that wet kiss again. I swear.
Yes.
But
Yep.
yeah, but no, she started kissing me. My parents kissed me on my cheek as a child growing up.
Exactly.
But I think that's a cultural thing, and depending on what ethnicity you are, what country you may be from, or your parents may be from, I think like I know like Italians, I believe they kiss on the lips, like their friends and
Hmm.
their children and their family members, I believe sometimes. So I don't think that's I don't add anything specific to that, but yeah, it's not something that I do. Like kissing on
Hmm.
the lips with the kid. No, yeah.
Yeah, that's a different level of affection there. No, thank you. I don't want that kind.
Okay. So anyway, so we're gonna move on to see it's Belinda and Chad. Um Belinda and Chad. So Belinda and Chad, so they're having this talk about when they get back home, right? And
Hmm.
Chad wants to know what Belinda wants to do in Austin and how he can be romantic. What restaurants can he take her to and all these types of things. And he's asking her about doing all these different things. And all she's saying is, well, you know what? It doesn't require that we go out. It's just being together. And that's what's romantic to me. I got kind of confused about that because, like, she keeps screaming that she wants him to be romantic, but when he talks about taking her out to an elegant restaurant or, something like that, she's saying, well, no, it doesn't take money, it doesn't take going out. What do you think she meant by all of that?
I can see both ways because I like all of it. The touching, the going out, the flowers, like Chad says he does the dinners, the flowers and all. And then she wants the touching and just time and I guess conversations and to be praised. That's what it seemed like she wants the words, for him to tell her she's beautiful. And he did it later on, a few episodes down, maybe. I think he nailed it. He was doing well, praising her beauty and her wisdom and just saying how proud he is to be with her. So I think he got it right. But I'm glad that they're having this conversation because it can be different for everyone, as we saw clearly here.
Right, right. And then as they're sitting at this dinner, they're having this dinner outside of their hotel room, and he's telling her what's special, but he gets a little um flustered and he's not able to put his words together. And hey, Chad, as a person with ADHD, I can totally relate. So then the producers
um,
start to ask him, like, what is it that makes her Belinda special? And he kind of looks at them and he says, really, guys? And then they asked him another question, and I'm with Chad on this one. Like, I'm like, what I don't need you to do when I'm thinking of something and I'm clearly processing something, I don't need you to keep asking me over and over again. I need you to really actually be quiet and let me think and get my words out. Like, that's what
mhm.
I need. And maybe he was rude, but he gets up, he looks at Belinda, he says, you know what? I'm tired. Let's go. And he grabs her hand and they kind of march out and she's looking like, oh no, oh no. What did you think about that moment?
It was tough because I thought they were. He obviously seemed stumped, like he needed some help, and I think the producers was just trying to give the man a little bit of help. And at that point, I guess he did not want it. And
No,
the
because
way
you're
he
not
just
inside my mind. So how you gonna help me? You can't help
Yeah,
me
but that's
at that point.
common. Yeah, that's common when people like stumble over their words for people to try to help you, say what you're trying to say. But him at his big age and what how many marriages later, it should be like, this should
Man,
not
don't
be
be
this
putting that
hard.
on our boy. Don't be talking. Don't be dogging our boy.
I know, right? I got a dog y'all got because y'all dog all of mine that I be liking. But I just feel like he was wrong. I agree with Belinda for him to just jump up and couldn't control. He was just like, I'm tired. And I said, when he go to that room, he better go to sleep. And he did not. He was not tired.
He was because he was frustrated. I need you
He said
people to
50-11.
understand. Need you people to understand something. When you ask a person a question, and literally this conversation, let's back up because here's the point right here. Here's the point that everybody may be missing. The
Mm-hmm.
conversation was between him and her, not between him,
Mm-hmm.
her, and the producer. It was between he and his wife, Belinda. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, why? are you in his ear and all up, breaking the fourth wall, as they like to say, by asking him a question? 'Cause clearly, we can hear it's the producer and not Belinda
Yep.
asking him a question. And then you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
ask it twice and three times or whatever. Yeah, that for me, that does make me. It gives me anxiety. It,
Ah.
it it is frustrating because I'm trying to put together my words. I may know what I want to say, but it's a glitch like with ADHD. And I'm not saying this gentleman has it, but I'm gonna just tell you, for me, it's a glitch in your brain that sometimes happen. It doesn't happen all the time, but it occasionally occurs. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it could be on a moment, some like saying this, like where you're feeling emotional and you're in your
Mm.
feelings. So no, you don't need the person to keep asking you the question. And I need the producers to understand that the conversation was between him and Belinda, not him and the producer. Like, the producer is
Mm-hmm.
not the person that he's married to. So yeah, I do understand Chad getting angry. Maybe he could have handled it a little bit better, but really, I mean, I guess he's probably thinking, I'm about to curse you people out, so it's better that I excuse myself, my wife and
Oh.
I, because it's just
Mm-hmm.
what my girl Mona saying. Chad was probably tired from all the long hours of,
Yes.
and that's another thing. Yes, thank you, Mona, for jumping in with that. We don't realize that these people sometimes they tape, and this is another thing. Sometimes they tape these scenes over again until they get what they want
Mm-hmm.
out of you. So I think sometimes these producers purposely poke the bear. That's what I think.
Mm.
And I didn't like that for Chad. I felt for him in that moment because, like I said, I myself have processing problems at times, and I just need you to bear with me and give me a second. If you would be patient, I will answer the question. And if I'm not planning on answering the question, or I can't, I will tell you that I can't
Mm-hmm.
answer the question right now. It's a lot to process, or I don't have the words for it. You know what I'm saying? And I think this
Yes.
guy seems fairly articulate, so I just didn't like that what production did with him. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that for him. But anyway, they get back to the bedroom, and you know, I understand that Belinda, my girl Belinda, she was noticeably upset. And did you agree with her though when she says the thing about it, when somebody apologizes, she's not able to forgive right away?
Well, I could see that as a human response, but you would think, over time you would get better at that. So I was
Hmm.
surprised to hear her say that. But I can see that a lot of people like to hold on to grudges for a period of time. My mom said as a child, I was quick to forgive. That was one thing about me. I could get a whooping, and 5 minutes later, I'd be all under her. She said all the other children would be mad for hours.
Oh, okay. So you do have that forgiving spirit. And I think now, you know what, and I gotta congratulate you, Kimberly, because I actually think that forgiveness and the ability to forgive quickly, not necessarily forgetting, because when people do you
Yes.
real wrong or real dirty and nasty,
Mm-hmm.
but the ability to forgive, I think it creates a happier life, because a lot of
Oh.
people don't understand this. I think forgiveness is not just for, it's not for the person that wronged you, it's for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's for
Mm-hmm.
yourself, that you don't have to go around uh with your face all sad, and oh, I'm so
Right.
angry at so and so because they said this about me or whatever.
Yeah.
I just, this is what I think. I don't know, but I
Mhm.
really think that that's a superpower, Kimberly. Do you still have that?
Yeah, but I learned not to be so quick, like you said, to forget things, to try to remember so you don't put yourself back in those same situations again. But I still
Yes.
really don't hold on to grudges long. Give me, my little space. Like I think it was Brittany or somebody that said,
Hmm.
and we're back good. But like you said too, don't forget what they did. Because if you
No.
forget and forgive too easily, people will use you like a doormat and walk all over you.
They will. They really will. And that's why I say you have to, you know what?
Yes.
That goes to also setting boundaries for us as women,
Oh,
setting
yes.
boundaries. You got to set those
Yes.
boundaries so that people don't do that. But you're right.
Mhm.
Well, one of the things that Chad did say, he told her that he was frustrated. She said
Mhm.
that, hey, it's about respect. And he said, well, did you feel like I disrespected you? She said, no, it wasn't me, but you and I are together, and when we're together, she says, like, you represent me. You and I'm paraphrasing this now. It's not wasn't her exact words, but she was saying, but you have to think about how you treat other people. I do agree with her with that.
Hmm. Yeah,
I
that's
do.
why they always say go out with your partner in public and see how they treat and respond to situations. That's why it's good to date in public. So this situation here would have been a red flag for me. And it
Hmm.
looks like Belinda was very concerned too, because it was disrespectful, because clearly from what Belinda said, the people was, just trying to help Chad. But like you said, he didn't want the help.
Yeah, he didn't. Well, that for some people got to understand that everybody is different, and for some people like
Hmm.
us, that's not necessarily helpful. And I still say that, like, to Mona's point, they probably been filming for 16,
Yeah.
14, 15, 16 hours, and I feel like production will give us a moment where they poke the bear because they trying to
Hmm.
build up the dramatic effect, right? Um, but we're gonna go back to our lovely couple, Britt and Will. Britt and Will, they get into this discussion once again about intimacy. Now we're going back to some days ago when they had unprotected, relations, right? And so she says that she still hasn't forgotten about that, and she's still feeling some kind of way because I guess he's saying that he is not sure whether they should move forward and have any more, hot and heavy time. What do you think is the issue that's going on between them with this whole thing?
I'm wondering if it's just because she doesn't want to use protection. I'm not sure on this one yet, because I can understand it. During the honeymoon, I would not be pressed in this type of situation to do any hot and heavy time. I would be more focused on getting to know the person and enjoying just the time away from, life and reality, and just adjusting to my new life. But Brittany just seems focused on wanting this intimacy, but I can also understand her point, because she named her list that he doesn't want to talk to her, he's distant, and doesn't want to be intimate. That's a lot at one time from your new person.
Oh yeah. Now you know what, when you put it that way. And she did come with her receipts, didn't she? That he doesn't
Yes.
not only he doesn't want to talk to her and this, that, and the third. I also
Hmm.
get the feeling though from the outside looking in, Brittany loves hot and heavy time. She ain't fooling me. She like her hot and heavy time. And there's nothing wrong with that, especially since these two lovebirds are married, in the eyes of the law and the Lord too. But
Hmm.
the thing about it is, I'm like really curious for these women because we got a couple of women on this season that don't seem to be there, and their spouses don't seem to be using protection. So I'm really kind of curious, like, what makes them so comfortable with these individual men that they just met, that they're going to have relations bareback? Like, what's up with that?
Even condoms don't protect you 100% either. So I
You're
would
right.
still be cautious. Is it even enough time for the test to come back clear?
Yeah, and that's the thing. People have been asking this question, and I've never found the answer. You guys drop in and let us know if you know the answer to this. Does the production company for Married at First Sight, do they test these people for STIs? Because let me say this, and this is kind of funny and kind of not, but I'm gonna make it funny. Um, did you guys notice as we're watching this on Peacock how, like, every third commercial was a HIV, STI status commercial? Did anybody notice that? Because I did. Something called
Oh,
PrEP, something called PrEP, and on the commercial, the couples were thinking, they were kind of talking out loud and saying, "Oh, maybe I should have asked him. Maybe I should have asked her. Oh, we should have used condoms." And I said, "Wow, they are really pushing the STI commercials during this season. Anybody else notice that? Is it just me? Because
oh wow. So since I do my live watch, I unmute during the ad breaks and talk to the viewers.
oh
So
yeah,
I
that's
didn't
right.
even
You
see
do.
any ads.
Oh, okay, okay,
Wow.
okay, okay. Let's see.
I
Okay.
would
Now
assume
Mona,
they are tested though. I would sue. You
yeah,
made me marry this man.
Mona says yes. They all are tested.
Good.
But you know what? That's a false. Again, that could be a false thing though, because while they could
Yes.
be tested the night
Yeah.
before or the week before, right after they've been tested, they could go out and have a fling with whomever who might be carrying whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Um,
Hmm.
And then she says about Belinda. Belinda should be patient with Chad. I think so. The process is
Hmm.
new and it's difficult for most people. I do. I think she should be. I think Belinda might be a little in her head about her ex husband, right?
Hmm.
That's what I think about that. So I think she's trying, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. Let's see who we have up next. We're gonna talk about. Hold on a minute. Let's see if we can find their picture. Uh, well, this is not the picture from the scene, but we're going to talk about Rhonda and we're going to talk about Ron and Pat because so they were in bed and they were talking about how long it's been since they've each cohabitated. We found out that Pat, it's been 7 years since he's lived with anyone of the opposite sex. For Rhonda, it's been since 1999. What you think about that, Kimberly? 1999.
Whoa.
That was when that Prince song came out. 1999.
Yeah, this is going to be tough, a tough merger. Because to be, oh my gosh, not have to answer to anyone, first of all, as a woman, it might be a little easier for the man to adjust, but for her having to submit to this man and live with this man after not having to do any of that for 25 years, I can't wait to see how this goes. I don't think it's going to go well because, like we say, Rhonda is just out there. She's all over the place. There's no structure. And Pat is just so calm and, laid back, which Rhonda does not like. At this point, she doesn't respect that part of him. So this, I don't think it's going to go well.
And you know what the funny thing about it? You just pointed out something that I hadn't really looked at it that way. You're right. I don't think she respects that he's laid back. And the funny thing about that is that's exactly who the only person that would deal with her is somebody who's
Yeah,
laid back. So
right. 'Cause
she needs to put him up on a pedestal and kiss his toes and say, "Baby, you are
exactly.
it." Because if she really wants her a spouse and somebody to grow
Yes,
old with, Pat is it for her because not too
exactly.
many people gonna put up with Rhonda's crazy butt.
Nope.
She's a pistol, just a
Right.
pistol. Okay. Oh
Right.
my goodness, she is a
But then they
pistol.
didn't they bring up the point here about him dating somebody like a few months ago. I think it was 6 months.
Oh yeah, now
That was
that's
I didn't
interesting.
like that.
A 3.5 year relationship. So it wasn't a quickie or a 3 month or a 6 month. It was a 3.5 year relationship, which I'm trying to understand. So wait a minute. So now here's the thing. So he says he's from Arizona, right? But he moved in a year and a half ago with his mom down in Austin. Where was this
Hmm.
relationship taking place? Was the lady living in Phoenix? Was she living in Austin? Did she move in with him? Uh,
Mm,
I'm confused. I'm confused.
right. But I was just concerned about him only being single 6 months. That's
I
tough.
I don't. Well, you know what? I'm gonna say this. I don't. Me personally, because he's older and mature, I don't
Hmm.
have a problem with that. I think
Hmm.
that if I were her, I'd want to know what ended their relationship. What kind of things,
Yeah.
like, was he unfaithful? Was she unfaithful? Did they just get tired of each other? What made him, like she said, what made him decide to come to this process of married at first sight? I don't have a problem with, guys, let me know. Do you have a problem with him being out of a relationship for only 6 months? Because him being in his he's basically 60. Let's just say 60, round it up. I think he's 57, 58, but basically 60 at our age in life, that's not something that if I ended it with you, I'm not thinking I'm not ever gonna look back at you again. Not ever. Like, bye. Okay. Like what?
Mhm.
Bye.
But I
You,
see what Pat was saying from single to married in 6 months.
wait a minute, say again now. Say again.
He was from single, so he broke up with the lady about 6 months and then got married within 6 months.
Well, I mean, but was it his
I'll
fault that
say,
go ahead.
hmm, I can see where you would start a new relationship with someone who had been single for 6 months, but I don't know that he's ready for marriage that fast.
What are any of these people? Are any of these people usually ready for marriage?
Right. So that's the point we're making. Talking about Pat.
Just saying, like I said,
Uh-huh.
I don't really have a problem with it. I don't really have a
Hmm.
problem with him jumping into a marriage in this situation because it's reality TV, right?
Okay.
I think that, let me say this. I think if any of you as ladies are here, or if any guys are here, you let me know. But I think growing up and in my younger years of dating, I have always observed that for the most part, most men will date quickly after a breakup.
Yes.
You can find men that have been married for 20, 30, 40, 50 years with a partner that they loved. They will start dating 6 months after that body is in the ground. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think men tend to compartmentalize relationships in life, whereas women kind of look at things being a continuity. Well, if I break up with him, some women got to mourn and grieve and go back to the man 10,159 times. I don't think that's necessary, because for me, when I break up with somebody, or that somebody breaks up with me, that's it. I'm done. I'm not going back. I don't do that circle the block crap that some people do.
No.
I think that's toxic,
Right.
but I don't know. Um, yeah, I don't know. You guys tell me, is it just me? Because all this dating and redating the same person, recycling the same person, when there are how many billions of people on the planet Earth? Like,
Exactly.
why you keep dating that same person? It's a reason why. What was the reason why you broke up? Like, I'm not
Yeah.
talking about, because I wrote this on Facebook years ago, and it was one of my most commented conversations, that I was talking about, like, why people keep dating the same person that they broke up with, like, on and on and on, and they break up 10 times, 20 times. And one of my friends wrote in and she said, well, the love of my life, we got back together and it worked out. But what she didn't say, I said, but wait a minute, tell the people what you're talking about. You guys were college sweethearts and you were engaged to be married. Something happened, whatever it was, and you broke up. He married somebody else. You married somebody else, continued on with your life. You both had families. I think maybe, I don't know if his wife died, and then her husband, she divorced him later on after the kids got grown or whatever. They meet up again like 20, 30 years later, and they remarry and have a wonderful relationship and a wonderful. I said, you didn't tell people that part. I'm talking about people that just go with the same person over and over again, break up, make up, break. That's the pattern I'm talking about, this toxic. I'm not talking about you've given a person a chance to grow and learn and live their life, and then you kind of meet up again, and now you're in a better place for one another. I'm not talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but that's just me. I don't believe in that breakup makeup, like let's
No.
do it again.
Yeah.
No, I'm not into that. But anyway, so we got the couple that we're looking at next is this couple here. I gotta use this picture again. But we're back at the home, and so the two of them, they're talking about what they're looking forward to when we get home, because we're still in episode 5, and Derek can begin to tell that Meg is very infatuated with her dog Zoe. What do you guys think about that? Like, people that look at their pets as children, and they want this respect for their pet as a child. They want you to love their child and not treat it like a stepchild. What do you think about that?
I just think they're going too far, but I tread lightly on that topic because you're right. People will protect those pets and write you off for those pets. And we had pets growing up too as a child. Like we had dogs, maybe 5 dogs. We had a
Did you?
rabbit. We had fishes, and
Okay.
never were we that close and
Yeah,
crazy, in
I
my
think
opinion, about pets.
right. I think some people, and here's what I think what really actually is happening. I don't know. This is just me. I think some single people that have been in their single era for years and years and years after college, I think what they do is they replace people with the pets. Like, I think some people think their cats and their dogs are the end all be all because they don't live with anybody else. And then they meet somebody who they really like, who really likes them, and you want to take that pet and put it up on the top pedestal above you, above your
Hmm.
your significant other. You want this pet to sleep in the bed next to you. You don't think about, well, how does this other person feel? How does my significant other, how does my spouse feel about that? Maybe they don't want a dog with the fleas in the bed with them, or the cat. Like,
And even on the furniture, like these pets are on the couch and in the kitchen. It's too much.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
When I saw Meg holding that dog up at the counter in the kitchen, I was like, girl, you don't get that dog away from that. kitchen countertop. Never said.
Exactly.
I went over to one of my friend's house and she had cats. And this is my first time really ever even being close because growing up, we did not have cats. We did have dogs, a couple of dogs or whatever.
Hmm.
Uh, but they did not come in the kitchen. They did not jump on no tables or nothing. But anyway, I was over her house and she offered me coffee. And girl,
Mm.
why was I sipping the coffee talking to her? And why did that cat jump right up on that kitchen table and look me in my I was like,
No.
I was like, never again. Please, and don't offer me no food. Please don't offer me no food.
Appetite lost.
Completely thrown away.
Wow.
But anywho, okay, back to this couple. Then we're gonna move into the next episode real quick. We've got Josh and Jalen, and they are just kissing, just like you see them here, but they're back at home too. They're back in the hotel, and she's talking about her lease is going to be ending soon, and he's saying, "Well, hey, maybe you need to move in my house." And did you see her eyes get big as saucers? What did you think about that?
I was like, wow, he is really ready. He said he has no reservations. He was ready to move in, and I would have been all okay with it too. I would have, I would, especially because their relationship is going perfect. We can say for certain so far, it seems to be going perfect. So I wouldn't have any reservations, being that they're already intimate. You know, what else is there to want privacy for?
Right, right, exactly. All right, guys, we are finally made it. We are over to episode 6 now. We are in that episode called Home Sweet Home. And we see here Brittany and Will, they've gotten into their new apartment and they already have pictures of themselves. What did you think about that? I loved it when I looked over and saw that picture on the nightstand.
And that beautiful frame. I love it too.
Isn't that cute? Isn't that cute? Yeah, what did you
Yes.
guys think about that? I said, wow,
And they
somebody.
had multiple. I think I saw another picture.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yep.
yeah. Oh, all right. Well, yeah, they
They did their homework.
but that was kind of funny. Now she said, "You know what?" She said, "Let's pretend like Panama never happened." What did you think about her saying that?
I got tired of her being so negative about the honeymoon. She said it wasn't romantic, and that it just, I don't know what she expected it to be. Why would it be so romantic when you guys got married at first sight? That's just, it's not realistic for this person to just come in and know exactly what you want within a day or two. Now, okay, they've been together a year. Now you can start complaining and, crying and being upset about him not being, what you thought he would be, or being upset about him not being open to what you need. But it's just too soon. They've only been together like a week. It's
Right,
too
right.
much.
It's like all of these women, and this is another thing I think that's really important for us as ladies to define. What is romantic to you? Because I see
Exactly.
Belinda doesn't seem to be doing a real good job of defining it when she talks to her husband Chad. And with this one right here, yeah, I didn't like that. Like one of the first things she said on the honeymoon when they were having the couples massage, she said, I thought this was supposed to be romantic, but it's not romantic.
So immature.
Very immature, very immature. And I gotta say something because nobody's really talking about this. I've looked at some other content creators. Why is nobody talking about the fact that this beautiful lady right here, Britt, who has a lot going for her, nothing, not knocking her, but she has not had a relationship longer than 3 months. What's going on with her?
Mm. I can see this attitude, this all these emotions. It's probably too much. She wants too much too soon. Like I said, they've only been together what, 1 week, and she expects him to know everything and be doing everything perfectly in 7 days.
Right, right. That's the thing. That's the thing right there. Um, okay, so we've got mm, can't sleep. Oh, we're gonna go back to Chad and Belinda. And for Chad and Belinda, one of their questions before they as they got in was Belinda wanted to talk about uh, Chad wanted to know, do your dog sleep in the bed? And she asked him, well, where does your cat sleep? And he said, well, you know what? The dogs don't sleep in the bed. My dog doesn't sleep in the bed with me. But he said, my cat sleeps wherever the heck they want to sleep. What did you think about that?
No, 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 no. That's just, I couldn't do it. That would that would be one strike for me. I don't think pets should be in the bed and even on furniture because that's where, other people are sitting and you're not going to clean it as often as you should. And these pets, they be into everything. They don't bathe like humans, first of all. Well, even some humans don't bathe good enough, but just, I
Oh
couldn't do
Lord.
it. Uh oh.
You said so even some humans don't bathe. Yeah, well there they are sitting on the couch and the sofa and she's got her ripped jeans and whatnot and they're discussing it. I mean, I don't know. That's a thing. I think that
Yeah.
single people have to think about when you get back out there to start dating and you're dating seriously for a connection to cohabitate, to
Mm-hmm.
marry, to shack up, live with somebody or whatever, you got to think about what things in
Yes.
your lifestyle that you do currently or that you have, including your pets, how will that affect and how will that work with other people that maybe aren't cat people or aren't dog people, or they
Mm-hmm.
do like dogs, but they think the dog should have their place and that place should be outside in the backyard. I don't know.
Hello.
Oh, that's you too. Oh my lord, no. No, you know what? You can't have the dog outside in the backyard all the time. The
Whew.
dog I feel like if you have a pet, now this is just me. I feel like if you have a pet. Now, when I was growing up, our dog, my father would have our dog outside. But as an adult, when I adopted my first dog, I felt like the dog is a part of the family, not like at the top, not on that top rung, but they should be inside. Yeah, they play outside in the backyard and things like that, but they come in. They come in and they have their dog bed. They don't sleep in the bed with me. I think when my son was young and my daughter went off to college, the dog I got for him specifically, yeah, he did let that dog sleep in the bed with him, but it was his
Wow.
bed though, and she didn't have fleas or anything, so I didn't worry about that. And I'm gonna tell
And
you a
these,
truth. Oh, go ahead.
mhm. These are just things you talk about in the dating stage too, because I made sure of it. I wanted to know if the
Hmm.
person wanted pets, and thankfully we agreed most of the time when dating. But these are things that they didn't get to talk about. But I'm sure there were questions the producers asked, or maybe the experts, as we call them, asked. How flexible are you? So
The
they had
fake
to ask something
experts,
about being flexible,
the
right?
fake experts. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, they had to ask questions about flexibility now because these people probably said, "Oh, yeah, I would be willing to do XYZ." And so now it's time to put those words to action. And we see we're having problems with getting dogs out of the bed.
Right, exactly. And one last thing about Belinda's dog Lovey. Lovey actually barks at Chad every time he comes out the
Yep.
bedroom. What did you think about that?
Annoying. I would not. Oh no, that's a lot. But that's what she said he does to all new people. So I guess
Oh,
he just
okay.
has to adjust.
Yeah, yeah. Chad looked like he was annoyed, but I think he's being a good sport going along with it. And
Yes.
you're right. I guess, some dogs that's normal for them. But I think what Belinda is missing is the whole point that while she says everything is fine, I think if she were to turn around and put herself into Chad's shoes and his dog would be barking at her all the time, I think she wouldn't find that so much fun.
Right.
But these people don't think about flipping it around. But in any case, speaking of Belinda, her daughter Jalen takes her husband Josh to work. And she's what do you call this thing that they do? Like it's cycling, but it's another term for it, but it's a class anyway. So she runs this class and they're cycling and he goes and he's working up a sweat. What? Could you see yourself doing this class like she has?
Yeah, I've done it years ago. I was all into gyms and stuff, and
Okay.
it is a workout. It is, but it was cool to see her not sweat at all, and it looked like she was doing the activity as well. But yeah, that looks like a very good workout for him. Even him because he seems fit, and to see him break a sweat and be out of breath was like, what?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He
I
and
like
he's
it was a
young.
good sport.
Right. And they're both young too. So he was
Mhm.
a very good sport about it and he was very supportive. And her class, the people in her class seemed all excited to meet her new husband too. Um, we get to Brittany and Brittany decides to take her husband to her new home, to see her home, and I thought it was very beautiful. Uh, she wanted something for Will. She wanted him to be excited and very bubbly and very excited. This was what I was excited about when I saw her wall of degrees. I was like, wow, she is really doing the darn thing. She's got MBA, bachelor's, MBA, and certificates and this and that. What did you think of the whole home tour that she gave to her husband?
I loved it. For her to be 29 and buying a home is impressive. And then to
Yes.
add the degrees on top of that, that explains why she probably did not date or maybe did not waste time more than what, 3 months on a man, because she
Hmm.
was focused and knew where she wanted to be and knew where she wanted to go. So maybe she just wasn't attracting the type of men that were on her level at her young age. I could see that being a problem. But
Now you know. Hmm. Go ahead.
I was very impressed with the home. It was beautiful, and it's like a new home too. I'm like, go, Brittany, stick
Yeah.
to your standards, girl. Make that man compliment you.
Yeah, because Will, stiff Will, he good for being emotionless. He wasn't saying too much of nothing. I don't know what he was thinking. I know when she
Mhm.
showed him her wardrobe and all the things that she wanted to take back to the new apartment, he was
Mm.
like, "What? You gonna have 7 outfits for each day of the week? Like what?" I guess she's a little bit of a clothes horse.
That was too much. Now I agree. That was a lot.
That was a lot. That was a lot.
Yeah,
And then we get over to our girl Rhonda. She's in the car, and man, oh man, when I seen that two-door Benz, I was like, "Uh-oh, our girl
go,
Rhonda is
Rhonda.
really, really balling." Like I don't care what nobody say, she is balling. Look at her.
Hmm.
Uh, she takes him Pat over to her house. Now this is a picture from her living room. How did you like her decor? How did you feel like her furnishings and her place? What did you think of it? Did it fit her?
Oh, perfectly. That is Rhonda. Just look at her glasses. You could tell by looking at her glasses that her house is all over the place, just like her. It wasn't messy, but it's a lot of stuff in there. It's a lot. It's a lot going on. And the pool, I love the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh
would
yeah.
love
Now
her house.
the outdoor. Yeah, that outdoor backyard. I didn't get a picture of that, but the outdoor with the
Yeah,
pool and the whole
loved
balcony
it.
deck. Yeah, that
Hmm.
was very. Now that was a very good area, especially being in the south where the weather tends to be so nice and warm. You could use that year round. Yes,
Ah,
absolutely.
good point. Hmm.
That
But
is
yeah,
a
I thought that was Rhonda all day long. That's her house. That's her style. And she said she remodeled, I think, like 7 years ago. And I
yep.
love the windows. I'm big on windows.
Hmm. Right. That is so
Beautiful.
true. That is so true. Um, and one of the things in my notes I was saying about Rhonda is I get the impression that Rhonda is a storyteller. And when I say storyteller, I don't mean like as in a liar. I mean a person
Right.
that just enjoys talking about their life and different things that happen. And when they tell you about their life, it becomes like a story.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that she likes for people to listen to her. She wants Pat to listen to her, but she may have the same problem that she accused him of, that sometimes she kind
Hmm.
of goes on about herself. And what is she thinking? Like, is she asking him questions about himself, or you kind of understand what I'm saying? It's kind of like she goes off onto a
Yes.
whole tirade. What did you think?
I agree. It's like she doesn't make room for him to speak up and collect his thoughts. She just want him to flow and just talk all day long like him, and it's not really going to happen. But I think he'll come around eventually, especially once they meet with the experts and they kind of give them tips on how to communicate better. I think he'll come around. Hopefully, if he's serious about the relationship, he will. But you're right,
Hmm.
Rhonda really doesn't give him space to share
Hmm.
and I don't know, express his feelings really.
Yeah, and then the other thing I was gonna say too, on this scene and what's going on is that they talk about Pat living with his, mother who was widowed 3 years ago. He's been
Hmm.
living there for a year and a half, but then Rhonda says that, she has some real concerns about cohabitating with her husband. And I wrote in my notes, Is she Dr. Pepper's BFF?
Hmm.
Because Dr. Pepper and her husband do not live in the same
Yeah.
household. You know that, right?
Right. Yep. Hmm. I wouldn't mind it either. I'm with Dr. Pepper. Ah, yeah. But
Yes.
it's look at Rhonda. What is she going to get rid of?
Oh my God, her closet, right. I was like, okay, Rhonda, how long have you known you were going to be on this show? Even if you couldn't get a lot done, because some people say a couple of weeks, some people say they knew a couple of months. I don't know. Let's just give her 2 to 3 weeks. Could she not have taken some of those clothes out and put them somewhere else? Like even in
Right.
a, I'm sure that's not her only bedroom that she has in her home. Like, could she have not put some of those clothes in a second, third bedroom, a guest bedroom closet, right?
Yes. Some
Because
totes. It's a lot
yes,
of
yeah,
options.
yeah, some totes or something. Because I'm thinking, if you say you want to be married, how have you made space in your life and in your home for this other person?
Mhm. And even if the other person, if she was willing to move in with them, you still gotta downsize because this is a lot of stuff. I mean, it's
A
stuff
lot of stuff.
everywhere. It's everywhere.
He noticed when he came in. I thought he did such a good job because you know what? All the women want the men to say something nice about their home. I think
And
in
he
Brittany's
did.
case, it's very justified because her place was very uncluttered. But when Matt
Yes.
came into Rhonda's home, he said, "Oh yes, it's colorful. I like it. It's colorful and upbeat."
But it looks so girly. Like
It's
so
very
girly.
it's very girly. And then, but look, I love this one thing he said. He said, and I noticed you have a thing for elephants.
Yep.
I said, "Oh God, she had
Yeah.
elephant on the cocktail table. She had
Yes.
elephants over in the curio. She had
Yes.
elephants everywhere." And it's
Yes.
funny because that remind me, actually, to be honest too. My mother had a thing for elephants. She did. She had a thing for
Mm-hmm.
elephants. And I thought that was so cute. But my mother was
Cool.
not. My mother was not a person to like a lot of clutter. So it was very like it
Mm-hmm.
was one or two very small dainty pieces. She was not.
Oh,
She was
cool.
not into clutter at all. So
Nice.
yeah. So but anyway, as we move forward, Mm, where are my notes at here? There's so much with all these episodes. Uh, oh, we got to talk about Derek. So Derek, okay, this is not going well. So Derek is trying to talk to Megan, and he's saying, look, I didn't get any sleep last night. First he's actually on the cam, and he's like outside or something. He says he's gonna go for a walk. Um, Yeah. Oh yeah. Back to Rhonda. Yep. No, she's not ready for a husband. I don't think she even really wants one.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people are in love with an illusion of what marriage and what a husband is. But back to Derek. Derek is saying he did not sleep. He got no sleep. He said her dog was barking, and yeah, this is it right here. The dog was barking. The dog was laying on top of him. And see, I think the dog actually likes him more than he likes her, his owner. And then he got into an argument with Megan because Megan was still talking about you need to walk the dog, you need to walk the dog. Well, Megan, that's your dog. Why aren't you walking your dog?
I agree. Yeah, that was a lot without a conversation. That was a lot to just put on Derek to make him do to adjust to that so fast. It's just like having a child, and now you're coming in having to take care of this dog, and I think that would be too much for me too soon.
Yeah, yeah. And the whole thing that she seems to think that this is actually a stepchild or a child that
Mm-hmm.
she has. Like I'm thinking, no, Meg, that's not a child. It's not a human being. It's actually a dog. And it's okay if he doesn't like automatically bond with your dog. Your dog is a dog. Um,
Yeah,
but what
she's
about
just not being. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Well, okay, so they get into this argument and Meg walks into the room and closes the door. Derek goes over in an attempt to try to kind of have a calm conversation with him, and she's like whatting him. Well, what? That's a trigger word for me. I don't know about anybody else out there, but that is a real big trigger word for me when somebody says what when I call their name. Like he's saying Megan,
Ah,
and she's like, what? Like growing up as a child, I don't know if it's a southern thing from my mother. I was taught that you don't respond to a person when they call your name with a what. You respond with a yes. Question mark.
exactly. Yeah, it's
Yes.
rude.
Yeah. So I was really I was understanding him, but he didn't make a big deal of it and get in his feelings because he kept communicating with her and he was asking her. He says, "Listen, I would really like for us to be able to communicate better. Um, she's talking to us in the confessionals and she said, well, you know what, I just don't have any empathy for him. I just don't. And maybe I'm talking a little rough to him, but oh well, I just don't have any empathy." I was like, woo, what in the world? Who told her she runs the country and runs the world?
Right. Yeah, she's just too quick to react to nothing. Even she tried to compare the compromises when Derek was saying, he's compromising so much, sleeping with the dog, walking the dog, having the dog everywhere. And she was like, well,
Hmm.
I'm compromising too. Got to clean the house with vinegar. I'm like, girl, there's no comparison. I'd rather
Oh,
smell
you.
vinegar than
Thank
dog.
yes, thank you. Thank you for that reminder. For the vinegar, and the vinegar is natural. And what he's trying to get her to understand is all these other products have chemicals in them that later down
Yes.
the line we don't know could cause you to have an illness or a sickness that you don't want to have because you're breathing
Right.
in all these man-made chemicals. Vinegar is natural, and it actually
Mm-hmm.
it does have an odor, but if you let it dry, the smell dissipates typically, right?
Okay. I was wondering about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it once it's dry, it will dissipate. So you just get over it for like after a minute or two, okay? Um,
Mhm.
the other thing, yeah, you brought up a good point, Kimberly. The other thing she said, well, she didn't compromise about, she didn't remind him about putting the toilet seat down. Now, ladies, how do you guys feel about your partner leaving the toilet seat up in your home? How do you feel about that? I got to get other people's opinion because I know how I feel about it.
Oh yeah, it's not happening. Put it down.
Put it
Put it
down.
back down.
That's what I say too. That's what I say.
Simple.
Like, ladies, what are you guys saying about the toilet seat issue? Is it thumbs up? I mean, does he have to put the toilet seat down? Do you mind going in there at night and you half asleep trying to get your little tinkle on and you fall into the bowl
Ooh,
because you forgot to put that seat
Jesus.
down? And then now what you got? You got to take a whole shower because you feel dirty. Like what?
Yeah.
Like what? Yeah, no, put the toilet seat down. Put the toilet seat
Mm-hmm.
down, gentlemen. I used to say to my ex when we were together, I used to say, well, three out of the four functions in the bathroom require the toilet seat to be down. So I think that the odds are in the favor that the toilet seat should be down.
Oh, that's a good point. Wow.
Like if he's got to use it to do, yeah, have the toilet seat down.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's just kind of the way that should go. If you're living with a woman,
Yes.
have that toilet seat down, guys. Okay, it's not that hard. It is not that
Right.
hard. Let's see. So we get on to the visits. Okay, we get the visit. Um, Oh, well, wait a minute before that. Belinda and her husband, they go shooting. They go shooting kind of a bow and arrow type of thing. And I thought that was a cute activity. She
Yes.
seemed to enjoy it and he seemed to be very patient with her. And she actually did really good. She got on the paper. She hit, she didn't get right in the center of the target, but she got close. She got really close. What did you think?
It was cute, a cute day, and it does work on your patience. So I like that Blenda was willing to try something new. Chad was very good at it, which was impressive. So I thought it was perfect, the perfect date.
I thought so too. They got along really well.
Hmm.
And that was a good thing. Okay, so now we get over to the visits. We had Pastor Cal. He came to see Will and Brittany, and I thought he did a really good job talking to them and getting some expression of what is really going on. And right away, he could tell, like Brittany was telling him, how she felt about the home visit. He said, "Well, what would you have wanted him to say?" And so when she was explaining, and Will was saying, well, you know what? I thought it was a nice home, and I thought I did compliment her, and I thought that Pastor Cal did a really great job of letting him know it's not just the home. The home is part of who she is. Like it's part of her. She wants you to appreciate it because she's worked really hard for it, and it's just kind of like a thing, you know. What did
Hmm.
you think about what Pastor Cal was saying?
I honestly always enjoy his advice for the most part, except for when he starts talking about like the, I don't know, taking care of a man. That part you can keep. But he told them both that they should care for what their partner cares for, and that comes from communication. You don't know what your partner cares for if you're not talking about it, having those conversations about what matters most. But I thought that was perfect advice. And then he even shared that they should be vulnerable, which is very important, to be open and vulnerable with your partner. But a lot of people try to close that off and just hold it within them because they're too afraid to really express their feelings and their wants and their desires. So I think Pastor Cal nailed it.
Yeah, he did. He did this time. I was impressed. I was like, Pastor Cal stepping it up for Peacock. They must have gave him a raise or something. Look at Pastor Cal
All
giving
right.
that giving that good advice. Like, what? Go ahead, Pastor.
Yeah.
Ooh
Hmm.
wee. He did. He
Yeah.
gave great advice this time. And
Hmm.
I said, you know what? Because we gotta have one more. We need another couple to go with that 11 couples out of 19 seasons. We gotta start adding some more
Whoa.
couples that actually that are
Yeah.
successful, like Woody and
Yeah.
Amani and Keith and what's the Keith and Christina, I think. And then you got down in Atlanta, you got Bree and Vincent, right? Vinny.
Hmm.
And we can't claim the couple from Louisiana, the other couple from Louisiana, because they broke up a while ago. So yeah,
Oh,
but we got a few couples there. Those are some of the ones that I can recall. If you guys have any other names to add into the married at first sight world of couples that are still together, obviously Paige and Chris aren't together any longer, so we know that didn't work out. Um,
Shanice and Jephthah, I thought they would be gone by now, but they're still hanging in there.
oh, thank you, Shanice and Jeffy. Wait a minute,
I know
Shanice.
you remember them.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah, no, I do. Oh, absolutely,
Yes,
I do.
because I didn't think they were going to make it off the season.
Girl, nobody thought so. But that lady, you know what? I got to give her credit. She's a smart one. She said, "I'm hanging on to my man because he seems like a good guy and just kind of like I don't know how to put it, but like he's a good guy. He needed like something stable in his life and somebody that really could kind of just say, "Hey, look, this is home. You and I, we're going to be home to one another." Yeah, I
Hmm.
feel that way also about Keith and Christina though too. Because if you remember Keith, Keith was kind of like a grandmama's boy or a mama's boy or
Mm.
something. He was kind of like
Hmm.
a little bit infantile, but it
Hmm.
seemed like to me Christina kind of got him. She got him together. You remember that?
Yep. Yep.
Oh, and yeah,
Yeah.
here's somebody that's here to say, "Yep, marriage is work." That's the
Ah.
thing. That's the thing. Marriage is work.
Yep.
And I think that a lot of times, that's why I say a lot of these people are romanticizing marriage. They're romanticizing what a husband is like, that
Exactly.
he's actually a human being. That's it. Like just like you're a human being,
Right.
he's a human being.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
but yeah, these two, I thought Pastor Cal did an excellent job.
Hmm.
Um and on to episode 7. I've just got a few notes here, guys. I'm kind of dwindling down here, but y'all help me out with episode 7, which is this is not a game. Um, Meg and Derek, they are trying. Let me get back to a picture of them. They are trying to really talk things through, but they keep seeming to have the same argument, right? They keep seeming to have the
Hmm.
same argument like over and over and over again. Um, the the girls and the guys meet up to have a little party get together. The guys go up to Derek's apartment. I don't know. Do you know which apartment the girls were in? I don't recall whose
It looks like, I think Jalen, because she kept opening the door.
Okay, so that was Jalen. Okay, so Jalen's
Hmm.
apartment was for the girls. And so here is our girl Meg sitting down. And as the women are opening up and talking about their marriages and what's going on, and everybody I thought was pretty truthful and trying to keep it maybe like I think maybe Britt kind of she didn't really want to get too deep into it, but she said okay, we're working on it, it's okay. But when they got to Meg was like, oh, it's okay, we're okay. And if you notice, Rhonda specifically kept cutting eyes over at Meg, like you could tell that Rhonda wasn't believing it. What did you think?
I agree, and I was a little disappointed at Megan. She just tried to make it seem like things were going okay, not great, but okay. But her
Mhm.
facial expressions and her body language said it all. You could tell the whole time that she was annoyed that the other women were doing so good in their marriage because they kept putting the camera on her, and her face looked like this almost every time.
Mhm.
And I kind of understood it though, because then she got on Derek about sharing too much. So I guess she was trying not to share a lot with the ladies, but I think it could have been a little more honesty, like, we're working through challenges. Simple.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, you have a whole job, but then again, you work with your family. So maybe your social skills aren't as developed as
Ah,
somebody that works outside of their family hub. Even
mm,
though she says she does commercial real estate as well, but maybe because now we have so many people working from home, things are different now. You don't have to go into work in the office every day in cubicles and talk with your coworkers and make small talk, because I thought that most adults that know how to make a little bit of small talk know how to kind of keep people out your business too, right?
yes.
You say it's okay. We yeah, or like you said, we've had a couple of ups and downs and leave
Yep.
it at that. Like
Hmm.
you don't have to go into. Well, last night we had a fight about the dog poop, farting on Derek, and
Right.
Derek was upset. Derek,
Right.
we got upset. I went in the
Hmm.
bedroom and I closed the door, and when he called me,
Slammed.
I said, yeah, slammed it. I said,
What?
what? You don't have to say all of that, but she didn't seem to understand that concept, and that's why I kind of look at some of these people too that have what I perceive as lowered social skills for an adult. You
Mm,
are a whole adult in your late 30s. This girl is almost 40 years old. And you mean to
right.
tell me you don't know how to? Because I know how to get somebody out of my business. I had to tell somebody at work the
Hmm.
other day, they were asking me about so and so and so and so, and did that person ever try to talk to me and blah 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 spleen. And girl, you know what? I got them out of my business so quick it wasn't even funny. They was like, "What? Oh, I gotta get out of her business." Yes, you better, because this is
Right.
not the conversation we're having at work. A and B, I'm not having this conversation with you because B, you're not even my friend. I don't consider
Yeah.
coworkers like that. You're just a coworker. That's it. That's it. That's
Same.
all.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't get all personal with me about my personal life. But
Hmm.
yeah, she didn't have those skills, I thought, to break it down. But so further to your point, when they get back into the apartment, her and Derek, she asked him, "Well, what did you say?" And he asked her, "What did she say?" And she says, "Well, I just kind of, told him that, it was okay." And then she said, "Well, what did you say?" He said, "I told him the truth." And I said, "Oh
Yeah.
my God."
Yeah.
I told him the truth. And she said, "What? You did
What?
what?" Did she go with that one again? What?
Yeah, I agree with her there though. He didn't have to go all in like that.
Yeah.
She did too little and he did too much.
I'm kind of riding the fence with both of them, because I said, you know what? I can see her point. And, like sometimes men are very, I know I dated this guy one time and he was like, oh, somebody asked him a question about us. And he was like, giving all the, I was like, what? I was doing her number there.
Right.
I was like, what? But I
Yes.
kind of got her point. But then to
Hmm.
Derek's side too, you know what? I said, for her, because I felt like her motivation was wrong. I felt like
Yes.
she's one of those people that's going to come on this show, on this reality show,
Fake it.
try to have this image and be so fake. And
Yep.
you know what? I don't think that he has to do that, because when you're going through something, sometimes you have to open up. It wasn't like he told every little nook and cranny. I thought he told just enough for the guys to understand, because particularly now when we think about Pat's kind of going through the same thing with crazy Rhonda over there. Everything that he says to Rhonda gets upset. She blows up. She don't want nobody living in
Hmm.
her house. And
Right.
oh, like I understood Derek. I understood him. I really did.
Yes.
What did you think?
I agree. I think though he overshared and she undershared, so I
Hmm.
could understand like both sides. But I agree,
Oh,
Megan shouldn't be fake. She could have worded it a little better. And then it's just crazy how when they get home, she's just from the whole night just ruined. Probably starting with that conversation because I believe by this point they had already had the conversation about Derek oversharing with his friend Scott. So Megan was just over it and did not handle it well.
right. And we got to, speaking of Scott, so we got to talk about that. Mona just pointed that out. Did we cover the argument? No. And before we close out, because we're about to close out because I'm about to fall asleep.
Uh
But
oh.
we gotta, we gotta cover. Yeah, it's been a long day. We gotta cover that. We gotta cover. Okay, so the argument with Derek and Mona concerning children. So yes, let's go back to that. So it kind of started, and it's like I think they've talked about it about maybe three times. But on the second time, I think it's the young gentleman you said, Scott. He met up with Derek,
Yes.
met up with Scott, and the first
Mm-hmm.
thing Scott asked him, he said, "Well, man, what are you guys talking about? Children? Is she excited to have children with you, and this type of thing?" And
Mm-hmm.
uh, I'm sorry. Oh Lord, Derek was like, well, you know what? She said she wanted to have one. He said, well, that's something you guys need to be talking about. You need to come to a very clear understanding. And I agree with Scott because as I
Mm-hmm.
was telling Kimberly earlier before we came on the air, I have a few friends, more than a few male friends that years ago when we were younger, they were marrying their first wives and they had talked about children and they had been very clear to ask questions. Did you want children? How many children? Blah, 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 blah. Got married to these particular ladies that were conniving and just wanted to get the man for whatever particular purpose, their income, whatever, whatever. Lied, and some of them had been had their tubes tied. Some were using birth control when they said that they weren't. And of course, those all
Mm-hmm.
ended in divorce because once the men found out, they were like, well, no, I got married because, and I tell people this, I tell young women this because a lot of our young women don't seem to understand this. A man who is about anything in life, has a job, has a career, is ambitious, wants to be something, wants to buy a home, wants to do certain things, typically that man, when he thinks about marriage, one of the first things comes to his mind besides the wife and the benefits of having a wife, a virtuous wife, having a partner, the next thing is very close to the list on top with the wife is children.
Mm-hmm.
Many
Yes.
men that are young that have never had children want to have children to bear their name, to be raised under their roof. So if you're thinking that you don't want to have children, you need to be very clear about that and find a man. Yeah, I know there are men out there that don't want to have children, just want to travel, do whatever, whatever, don't want children. Then you need to find that man, but don't go out here and trick these men that want to be a father. Don't go and trick them into marrying you and then they find out that you've had your tubes tied and burned and you're never going to be able to have children. That's crazy.
Yeah, you are 100% right. And then there are people like Derek who, he said he's not willing to compromise on it. So he feels like he can persuade the woman. So what happens when you you can't persuade him? You know, you're stuck and you can't talk her into having three children because that's a lot. Three, I could see one or two, but for her to say she wants what one for sure, and he's saying, "Oh no, we're having three," that's a big difference.
Oh, wow. But yeah, yeah, she's saying one. I love what his friend is saying to him, though. And I agree with his friend because to me, this is just to me, my observation, and I've also seen a couple of women in the church that I run across, and I ain't saying no names, and I don't know this for a fact, but after spending time with them in conversation about their ex-husbands, and they had these children, the flip side of that is that there are some women that will marry men just so they can have their children inside of wedlock, and then they get
Mhm.
divorced because they don't want to be bothered with the man. So,
Ooh,
but yeah, that's a dirty trick, especially you calling yourself a Christian, right? A believer.
yeah.
Um, but what I want to get back to is Derek's friend Scott. I think what he said makes so much sense to me, having seen these flip sides of women and men and the whole, whether we have children or not inside of our marriage. I think
Hmm.
what his friend was saying makes so much sense because if you find a person that is not talking about kids like they are so excited. Now I understand Megan saying about, concerned about the pain of childbirth, right? I've had two
Yeah.
children of my own, and trust me when I say, yeah, it's no walk in the park, okay? It's no walk in the
Hmm.
park having a baby. Um it's not. But the thing about it, if I were a man and I ran into a woman that wasn't excited about it, wasn't talking about what kind of mother they wanted to be, and like for example, in this particular show, uh, Jalen is all talking about already about, well, we're gonna be kissing in front of our kids. We're gonna be kissing, kissing,
Yes.
kissing, and they're gonna hate us, but they're gonna love us at the same time. Um,
Hmm.
you know, I think that shows to me that she definitely wants to be a mom. But if I were a
Yes.
man and I met a woman that wasn't excited about it, I don't care how much pain they thought they were gonna have. To me, that would be a red flag that this chick probably don't want to have kids and she's just trying to say I'm gonna have one and all this bull crap, and she's one of the women that probably already had her tubes tied. Now Megan says,
No.
hold on, but Megan says, listen now, Megan claims that she has frozen her eggs, right?
Hmm. Yes.
That's what she says. But again, I'm looking at Megan side eye because I don't trust Megan. I do not trust Megan with this whole thing about children. And I think part of the reason that she maybe doesn't want to have children has got nothing to do with the pain of the actual physical birth, which any mother that will tell you, you could have went through 10 hours of labor and you went through all this pain, so much pain that you just, it's undescribable for some of us women. But when you see the face of your child, you forget it all. It's all gone
Mm.
because you have brought life into this world, something that is very precious. But Megan may not want to be a mother because let's go back and look at her own mother in this series. How was her mother treating her before she got married? How was she talking to her own daughter? She doesn't seem to like her daughter.
Hmm. Yeah, it wasn't a loving relationship at all or conversation.
No, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. And I'm looking at Megan side eye because honest to God, gosh, I do not believe that that lady really wants to have children. And I think
Mm.
that Derek will be very foolish to continue on when it comes decision day with her because, yeah,
Mm.
find you a woman that's just as excited about having children as you are,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, because he clearly said he was not willing to compromise on having a big family, and big is not two children, I don't think. A
Oh,
big
yeah.
family is three plus.
That's a good thought. That's an interesting thought.
Mm.
Having a
What's that,
surrogate.
like 80K? How much are those?
I don't know, but she come from money. It looks like anyway.
Hmm.
That's an interesting thought, and who knows? I mean, like I don't know, but I don't feel it for Megan and Derek. What are you guys thinking? Mona, are you feeling it for Derek and Megan? Uh, what do you think? Do you think they'll say yes on decision day? And I got one other question. Did you guys notice that in these 3 episodes that they dropped, did you notice that we finally heard Megan was the one that said, yeah, we've been having lots of unprotected sex, lots and lots of unprotected sex, which is one of the clips that they kept showing us. But then they have another voice that says, and I don't, or is it Megan? Is it Jalen? Who says that she thinks she's pregnant? Because I don't know. I'm thinking it's Jalen, but is it Megan?
Right. And ooh, that would not be good because they can't even have a good day.
Yeah. Well, guys, I don't know. These next episodes are going to drop on Thursday. Um, Kimberly has been lovely enough to grace our stage as a co host, and we've agreed that we're going to change this up a little bit because we know that next Sunday will be Ready to Love Detroit, and I'm so excited about that. And JR and Ron will be back in the building, and I'm not going to be able, it's just, I thought I could do it. I thought if I did it at three, is some kind of way we could do it. But with 3 and 4 episodes dropping of Married at First Sight each week, Kimberly has been gracious enough to agree to meet with me here on Mondays. So we'll do Monday
Yes.
evenings. Okay, we'll do Monday evenings about six, but somewhere 6 or 7 o'clock, and we'll get those 3 episodes out and we'll discuss it in great detail. If you guys are hanging with us, make sure you put your notifications on. But we will be coming back on Monday. But tune in Sunday about 6:30. We will be doing the first episode of Ready to Love Detroit, my hometown.
Yay!
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Wow. That's cool.
And tell the people while I'm tell the people what you got going on over on your channel and what you do over there and your social media where they can find you.
Oh, yes. So come on over to Kimberly Reviews here on YouTube. I like to post on my travels. So my recent video, I posted my first solo cruise and I ran into so many celebrities, which was too cool on the ship. So go check that
Oh,
out. Yes. And then you
oh,
can find me also on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook at Kimberly Reviews. So I look forward to continuing the conversations there.
all right, all right. Well, we'll see you back next week, Monday, not Sunday. We'll be back to continue on with this Married at First Sight Austin saga. What is going to happen next? Will Rhonda get it together? Will Megan stop fussing at poor Derek and slamming the door and whatting that poor man to death?
Right.
we 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 will find out next week, Monday, guys. But thank you for hanging out with us, Mona, Felicia, those of you in the bushes, those of you that are going to come in later on the replay. Oh, and let me ask a big favor of you guys. Can you drop down when the video is over? Can you just drop down? Uh, leave a heart. Tell me where you're from. Tell me what your questions are about Married at First Sight. Did we miss anything? Just drop down in the comment section and give us some engagement, okay, guys? And make sure you go over to at Kimberly Reviews here on the YouTube streets and sign up, subscribe to her channel. She's got wonderful stuff over there, okay, guys? You don't
Thank
want
you.
to miss it. You do not want to miss it. You're welcome. All right, with that said, we're going to shimmy and shake on out of here, okay, guys? All right, here we go.